Hey guys, welcome back to the Racklify YouTube channel. So next thing we're going to talk about is in-house fulfillment versus using a 3PL. Is it a good decision to make that switch? Well, one of the things you want to consider is how you value your costs versus time, right? So obviously, as we've been discussing, 3PLs can save you a lot of time and overall bottom line of your business. But 3PLs have a cost, right? It costs money to have people do this service for you. There's a cost associated with the service, and that can affect your business negatively if you have a really tight margin. There are also sometimes some onboarding fees or monthly minimums that you have to hit. So these can help you make that choice between, is it an in-house fulfillment the best choice for me, or is going with 3PL a better choice for me? So here's the biggest question to ask yourself when deciding between in-house fulfillment and using a 3PL. And that is, how much control do you want to have, right? There are two ways to grow a business. You can outsource some of the functions, or you can keep them in-house. And when you're sitting there and it's your product, you probably care about it more than anybody else. You probably go to sleep thinking about it. You treat that thing as if it's one of your own children. So that means that every box you put out is probably perfection, right? You probably put the straightest line of tape on there. You probably got a squared up label, and you give that thing a hug and a kiss on its way out. When you send it to a 3PL, the 3PL is never going to care as much as you do as the business owner. So there's always going to be a trade-off of control. So if you want to completely own the process all the way from the pick to the pack to the time it's loaded on the truck, doing in-house fulfillment is going to be the choice for you. If you don't mind outsourcing some of that in the name of gaining more time, right, potentially lowering costs, then a 3PL is a better fit for you. Another thing to consider is, what does your long-term growth strategy look like? Right? At some point, you may have to move to a 3PL, unless you're going to get a larger building and hire more staff and manage that staff. There's tons of successful e-commerce businesses that own their own facilities and manage their own staff. There are also millions of other e-commerce businesses that outsource their fulfillment. So it really comes down to how you want to grow and what's going to give you the level of control over your product that you desire. Finally, the last thing to consider when thinking about in-house fulfillment versus going to a 3PL is the overall scalability, right? So like I was saying, if you're a small business owner, you're going to have to go get a bigger building. You're going to have to go hire some staff. You're going to have to train that staff. You're going to have to go negotiate with the carriers for rates. You're going to eventually have to buy a second building, increase your reach, right? And if you go international, you're going to need buildings in multiple countries, right? So there's a huge lift with scalability if you choose to keep fulfillment in-house. If you decide to outsource your fulfillment, scalability is almost instant, right? The 3PL has almost unlimited space. They're going to hire more workers when they need it. And they're probably going to have a bunch of buildings, and they'll probably be looking into buying even more buildings, right? So getting a 3PL can fix that scalability issue, but keeping things in-house can give you that degree of control and just changes the way that you grow and changes the way that you scale. So this is something to really think about when you're making this decision.